The Fusion 360 UI. In this video, we'll navigate workspaces and identify UI elements. In Fusion 360, we want to get started by first taking a look at the Fusion 360 user interface and getting comfortable. First, I want to make sure at the top left corner we select Show Data Panel and we create a new project. I like to title my projects first based on the year, and then I'm going to call this one Practical CNC. Once a project has been created, it'll get placed inside your project list, and I'm going to go ahead and pin mine to the top. This makes it a bit easier for us to find. The next thing that I want to do is create a new folder called Foundational Concepts. Once I have that folder, I can begin by creating and saving new designs or by uploading existing designs. I'm going to start by selecting Upload. We want to select files or drag and drop them in this area, noting the location where they will be uploaded to, in this case, my Practical CNC Foundational Concepts. We want to look for First Upload CAD, but since we're going to be using them, let's go ahead and select all the datasets in here. You'll note that each one of them is listed and we can select Upload. We're going to close the Job Status dialog box and we're going to allow these designs to get uploaded into our Foundational Concepts folder. The data panel is going to be the area where we create, store, and manage all of our designs. Once they're uploaded, let's go ahead and find First Upload CAD, double-click on it, and this will open the design in the canvas area. I can select the X or the data panel icon to hide the data panel. Once a design is open, we want to begin learning how to navigate and manipulate our design in Fusion 360. In the canvas area, if we use the scroll on our mouse, we can zoom in and out. If you hold down the scroll wheel, you can pan the design. If you hold down Shift and the scroll wheel, you'll be able to free orbit the design. Also note in the upper right-hand corner, we have our View Cube. The View Cube allows us to go to predefined locations and back to a home position. We also have some view options by using this drop-down area. For example, we can view perspective with ortho faces, change or reset our home view, as well as our front or top. We also have some display options in the bottom center of our canvas area. We can change the way in which we orbit. We can select Look At, which will allow us to look in a normal position to a selection. We can use Pan, Zoom, Fit to Screen, or manipulate some of our other settings. For this course, I'll be using a visual style as shaded with visible edges only. The environment will be photo booth. The effects will be ambient occlusion and anti-aliasing. And we're going to make sure that our camera is set to perspective with ortho faces. Perspective with ortho faces allows us to have an orthographic view anytime we're looking from a standard view, such as top or front, or when we're creating a sketch. As soon as we begin to rotate it, the view will change to a perspective view. This gives us a little bit more realism. If you're having any difficulty manipulating your model, you can always go to the upper right-hand area of Fusion, go to your preferences, and modify the way in which you interact with the model. I'll be using the default Fusion for pan, zoom, and orbit shortcuts, as well as the free orbit for the default orbit. But we can also do things like reverse zoom direction, enable camera pivot, and use gesture-based view navigations. When we're still in the canvas area, we also have a right-click menu. The right-click menu allows us quick access to several different types of tools, as well as a list of contextual tools. This means that there are things that will change, such as extrude and fillet, based on our selection. For example, if I select a face and right-click, notice that I have shell that appears and offset plane. We can also create a sketch directly on this face since it is planar. We'll be learning more about sketching and creating features in future videos. Right now, we want to make sure that we're comfortable with navigating through Fusion 360 and accessing our tools. Inside the top area of Fusion 360, we'll have any of our documents displayed across the top. Anytime we open multiple documents or create multiple documents, you'll notice that they begin to shrink in size and we can select which document we want to currently work on. We also have access to tools for solids, surfaces, sheet metal, a tools menu, as well as a manage area. When we go back to solids, there are several areas which have drop-downs such as Create, Modify, Assemble, Construct, and so on. These will be different access points for different tools. In the left-hand area of our canvas, we have what's called the browser. This is going to contain any bodies, components, sketches, and other information that will become pertinent once we begin modeling. At the very bottom of this area, we have a comment section, which allows us to capture screenshots and add comments to the design. And at the very bottom, we have our timeline, which captures any sketches, features, or tools that are used or created. This is history-based, which means the order of operations are important. We can manipulate or change these at any point in time, and we can use some of the various options to help control what we see and how we display it. Fusion 360 is not just a 3D CAD design tool. There are many other workspaces which give us access to other tools depending on our current workflow. From the Design dropdown, we can select Generative Design, Render, Animation, Simulation, Manufacture, or Detailed Drawings. We'll be exploring other workspaces in future videos, but it's important to note the access point in which we can get to other workspaces. There is another area from the File dropdown that allows us to create new electronics or printed circuit board designs. Last, I want to mention the upper right-hand area of Fusion 360. This is where we can see notifications, get access to extensions, which are added functionality that can be purchased, view job status, any notifications that are in our notification center, as well as direct access to help. Help can be an extremely handy area to search for help documentation, take a look at support and diagnostic information, or just view what's new in the current release of Fusion 360. At this point, it's important that you're comfortable with working through the different areas of Fusion 360 and, most importantly, manipulating the model. So spend a little time playing around with zooming, panning, and rotating the model before moving on to the next video.